Hi, my name is Mark Higdon. I'm with GC Lending Services, and we're located in Covington, Louisiana. I attended the CCTG course in September of 2014 with Thomas, my partner in the business.
Yeah, my name's Thomas Richards. I was in the same course with Mark. Ultimately, we decided to take the CCTG course after finding the course online, doing a substantial amount of due diligence, checking references, and basically comparing the course to other similar courses we had found before. I think ultimately for us, on top of the training that was offered and the lender relationships, which was really important to us, the added value of the marketing component, website development, search engine optimization, email campaigns, those things were added features that really, I guess at the end of the day, made us decide to pull the trigger on the course.
Yeah, and we had a fair amount of calls with those guys before we pulled the trigger, and they were responsive to us. They're very impressive to us when we spoke to them on the phone, and we just felt comfortable overall with them over the rest of the folks we spoke with. Well, I just closed a deal last week for $1.25 million on a commercial building. It was a warehouse downtown New Orleans. And I've also got right now a deal in the pipeline with a Allfield Energy Service Group for $7 million, which is a working line of credit. And on that deal, I've got 3 proposals through the lenders that we were introduced through CCTG. And that deal I expect to close within the next month. And outside of that, I've probably got $20 million in deals over 3 or 4 other deals that are in my pipeline.
Yeah, the last deal I closed was a raw land deal in Mississippi. It was actually a cash out refinance to get some equity for a borrower who was trying to get into a much bigger apartment complex deal, and we closed that probably about 30 days after we finished the class. Other than that, we've closed probably about 3 or 4 more deals, and pipeline is probably 14 deals worth about $50 to $60 million in loan amount right now.
Well, I'll be honest, we did a lot of due diligence on the front end and felt comfortable going up to Albany to CCTG, but I was skeptical. You never know what you're gonna, we just weren't sure. We paid a lot of money to go to the class, and we were a little skeptical, but once we got there and got to meet everybody, the program was streamlined. It was intense. There were lenders coming in, just like they said, day in and day out. Organized. Everybody was professional. It didn't take very long to say, hey, these guys are for real, and I felt good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. One thing I was impressed with is that Chris and John and the presenters really took it very seriously. If we needed to stay 10, 11 hours a day, it was that important to them that we got our value out, meaning we were going to get through all the material. It's only 7 days, so it takes a lot of time to do that, but those guys really took it seriously. We didn't cut any corners to get an 8-hour day in. I mean, we got it in. We spoke to all the lenders. We were supposed to. They also do a good job of giving you materials. When you leave the course, you come back of 7 days of just a tremendous amount of knowledge, and you start trying to think how certain deals are going to fit with certain lenders. The good news is you've got all your materials from your course plus some summaries of the products offered by different types of lenders, and that's helped us tremendously as deals come in. That we screen them, we get some information, and we're able to easily flip back to the materials we got and say, okay, this might be a good deal for a Kennedy or another lender like that. So overall, it was definitely worth the money. It was intense, but definitely worth it. Our trainers were great. It was primarily John and Chris besides the lenders, but I think what I got most out of those guys was, there's a very practical element of the course about the lenders and the products. There's technical stuff about how these loans are going to be underwritten and things like that, and that's all very valuable. But those guys are doing the same thing that they're teaching. So there's a component of what they bring to the course, which is just everyday experience, things to do, things not to do that are outside of the technical part of what product goes with a certain lender or debt service coverage ratios or things like that. You're going to get a lot of real life experience with guys that are doing the same deals they're teaching you about, as they're teaching you. So that was very valuable.
Yeah, I got to second what Thomas says. I was very impressed with John and with Chris and everyone, Alex, Caitlin, Brittany, the whole staff. They were wonderful. They were very knowledgeable. They were there anytime we had questions. They give us their cell phone numbers. They question after hours. They couldn't have been better. Yeah, we met a lot of lenders up there. I'd say probably 40 to 50 lenders that came through. It's hard to keep track of all the lenders, but every one of them was very professional. They knew what they were talking about, informative. We got materials, again, cell phone numbers if we needed to call them. And once we got back, we kind of focused on commercial real estate. That's kind of our niche, a lot of what we did before. And so we're dealing with a lot of the commercial lenders, and they've been wonderful. All of them very responsive. I can't say enough about those guys. They were there, told us what they were going to do when we got back, and they've done everything they said they're going to do.
Yeah. On top of that, what's neat is, those guys. Some of them are on a call. They don't see a face. A lot of them are there too. But they have a whole class. They're not remembering everybody necessarily when you call in 3 weeks. But the neat thing is, it's very nice when you call these guys that you may be 8 weeks out from the class. When you call the guys or email them, the first thing you say is, "Hey, this is Thomas. I'm a CCTG grad, comma," and it gives you some legitimacy when you're bringing a deal to them. And that's, I know I'm supposed to be talking about the lenders, but Mark said it, what we can say about them. They're all responsive, helpful, help us get our deals closed. They are happy to get our deals. But when you go to a new lender that, when I say new to you, it's always nice to have that intro, get some legitimacy, and then get your deals going.
One of the great things about CCTG has been the support. So the class was wonderful and all those things, but once we got back, when we got back, we had our business cards, our stationery, our letterhead, everything they said they were going to do was sitting here at our office, which was wonderful. And within a few weeks, we had our website was up. We had a website at the time already, so they took our website, which was more geared towards residential lending, and incorporated all of that. Very well done. Couldn't have asked for it to be done better. And then they started with the marketing program, which has been wonderful, very professional, from LinkedIn blasts and posts to email blasts. If we had any problems or saw any an error in an email, they corrected it immediately. And so that I can say that's probably been one of the greatest things, is the marketing and support after the fact.
Yeah, and on top of the marketing's been great, but from a pragmatic standpoint, again, you're coming back with this sometimes seemingly overwhelming amount of information and different loan products, and then you start getting calls and you're trying to see, which peg goes where. It's so easy to shoot John an email, call him, and say, "Look, this is what I got going on. Who would you send it to? What do I need to get a good package together for them?" And the more and more deals you do, you may not, especially that type, you may not be needing to call them every time. But sure enough, another deal is going to come in that you've never done before, and again, it could be a year later, 6 months. Those guys are always responsive, put you in the right direction, and again, when they point you to the lender, we get a great response from the lender because we're CCTG grads.